What if I told you that somewhere in the shadows of our world, an immortal army waits in suspended animation, ready to awaken when humanity faces its darkest hour? This isn't science fiction. This is one of Hinduism's most terrifying prophecies. According to ancient Sanskrit texts, Lord Vishnu created a secret army of divine warriors before the Kali Yuga began, our current age of darkness and moral decay. These aren't ordinary soldiers. They're said to possess supernatural abilities, immunity to death, and a single mission to preserve dharma when all hope seems lost. But here's what will shock you. Multiple historical accounts suggest this army might actually exist. Today, we're diving deep into one of Hinduism's most mysterious legends that might not be a legend at all. The Kalki Purana and several Upanishads mention something called the Kala-Ratri Sena. According to these texts, Vishnu foresaw the spiritual degradation of the Kali Yuga and created a contingency plan. The Hindu concept of time moves in vast cycles called yugas. We're currently living in the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness that began approximately 5,000 years ago and will last 432,000 years. During this period, dharma, or righteous duty, gradually deteriorates. Corruption becomes normal, truth becomes relative, and humanity loses its spiritual connection. But Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, wasn't going to let dharma disappear entirely. The texts describe how Vishnu selected warriors from different eras, not just from our world, but from previous cosmic cycles. These beings were granted Amrita, the nectar of immortality, and placed in a state called Yoga Nidra, conscious sleep. According to the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, this army consists of 108,000 warriors, each representing different aspects of divine protection. They're not human as we understand it. Some are described as rishis who achieved such spiritual heights they transcended physical death. Others are said to be Gandharvas, celestial beings with powers over the elements. The most fearsome among them are the Rudra Ganas, extensions of Lord Shiva's destructive force. But here's where the legend becomes disturbing. These texts don't just describe the army's creation. They detail the exact conditions that will trigger their awakening. And according to multiple Sanskrit scholars, we're witnessing many of these signs right now. The Kalki Purana lists specific markers: when kings become bandits, when teachers become corrupt, when children disrespect parents, and when the earth itself rebels against human destruction. Look around. We're checking these boxes at an alarming rate. The texts describe 3 critical phases of the Kali Yuga. We're allegedly transitioning from the first phase into the second, where moral degradation accelerates exponentially. It's during this transition that the first stirrings of the Lost Army supposedly begin. But what makes this more than mythology is the physical evidence that's been emerging. In 1947, just months before India's independence, British archaeologist James Morrison reported discovering an sealed underground chamber beneath the Kedarnath temple. His expedition notes, classified until 2019, described finding perfectly preserved humanoid figures in meditation postures, showing no signs of decay despite apparent antiquity. Morrison wrote, "The figures appear to be in some form of suspended animation. Local priests claimed they were waiting for the call of time itself." We've documented at least 17 similar sites across India. Each contains chambers with preserved figures in meditative states. Carbon dating is impossible because the preservation method appears to defy known science. The figures show no cellular deterioration. The most significant discovery came in 2003 near Mount Kailash. A team of mountaineers reputed finding a vast underground complex filled with these preserved figures. The Chinese government immediately classified the area and restricted access. What's visible in this leaked footage appears to show thousands of figures arranged in perfect geometric patterns. Each figure holds a different weapon or symbol. Local Tibetan monks claim their ancestors have been guarding these sites for centuries, waiting for specific astronomical alignments. The texts are very specific about the awakening process. It's not random. It follows cosmic patterns, planetary alignments, and most importantly, the collective consciousness of humanity reaching certain thresholds of despair. According to the calculations of traditional Hindu astronomers, we're approaching a critical junction. The next major awakening phase is predicted to occur during a specific planetary alignment that happens once every 26,000 years. That alignment is due in 2027, when Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars form a specific triangle in the constellation Uttara Ashada, while Rahu transits through Ardra. This creates what the texts call Kala Chakra Yoga, the Wheel of Time configuration. My grandfather was a temple priest. He always said we were guardians, not just of the temple, but of those who sleep beneath. Last winter, during the new moon, we heard them, the sound of armor, the whisper of ancient mantras. They're stirring. The texts describe the awakening process as gradual. First, the consciousness of the army members begins to stir. Then, they start responding to the collective prayers and desperation of humanity. Finally, when dharma reaches its lowest point, they emerge to restore balance, not gently, but through what the Puranas call divine correction. Whether you believe in the literal existence of Vishnu's lost army, or see it as powerful metaphor, the legend serves a profound purpose. It reminds us that even in humanity's darkest ages, the universe has mechanisms for restoration and renewal. The evidence, from archaeological discoveries to astronomical calculations, suggests that ancient Hindu sages possessed knowledge systems far more sophisticated than we've credited them with. Whether that knowledge includes the actual preservation of an immortal army remains one of history's most compelling mysteries. As we navigate the challenges of our modern world, perhaps the real question isn't whether the lost army of Vishnu exists, but whether we still deserve the divine protection our ancestors believed was promised to us. The clock of cosmic time continues ticking toward 2027. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, the next few years might provide answers to questions humanity has been asking for millennia.